Hello, this is Joy. Today I'm going to be making an art journal. I've been working in this art journal that I found, but as you can see, I'm just about used it up. I've only got a few pages left, and it's one that I bought from a store, and I've just about filled it up. It's almost completely full, and it's very thick. When I bought this art journal, I pulled pages out of it to allow room for it to expand, and so I took half the pages out. So these are the extra pages that I pulled out, so I'm going to use these along with some watercolor paper. This is a medium weight watercolor paper. I just bought like a pad so that I could like fold these in half, and it would be the same size as these pages here to make another art journal. Reason why I wanted to make another art journal is because I have quite a few that are spiral bound, and they're great and I enjoy working in them, but they're best for just one page layout. They kind of don't work well if you want like a 2-page layout. So I've got this size here, which is an 8.5 by 11, and then I've got 11 by 14, which I love to work in when I want to do a nice large single page. There's a lot of times where you really want to be able to do, you know, double pages, and the only way that you can do a 2-page layout is, or you know, you can do it in a spiral bound, but again the spiral kind of gets in the way. The best way is if you have this type of a bound art journal. So rather than go and buy myself another one, I've decided I'm going to make mine. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube how to make art journals and buying them, and I've made one. Actually, this is not an art journal. I made a smash book by what I saw on the videos. I had a lot of scrapbook paper that needed to be used up, so I decided I was going to put together a little smash book. As you can see, I haven't really worked much in this. I've been doing so much art journaling that I've not even really touched this much, and I used up a lot of scrapbook paper and made little pockets in different areas, and that was fun to make. I actually made this with my granddaughter. And she made her own little smash book. And as you can see, she's been having a lot of fun with her smash book. Just playing and painting and decorating. We need to start actually smashing some stuff in here when she comes to visit next time, which we're going to work on. We just spent the weekend together and did some fun things that I want to be able to work with her on to start actually filling these things up. So I'm looking forward to that. There's lots and lots of art journals that you can buy, and I have a bunch of different ones. I have this little one that's nice for traveling, and it's I haven't worked in this yet. I just got it because I wanted to put together a little travel kit where I could take something small for when I travel. This here is not an art journal, but my idea for this is I was going to gesso this over and turn it into an art journal, because I think it'd be a great art journal. I mean, it didn't cost anything, and you know, I just think it's pretty neat. And this is just a little spiral bound at the top, a small spiral bound there. This art journal was also spiral bound. I don't know why I'm having trouble pronouncing that today. But I decided to decorate it up and put this little, hang this little tag on here that says art, and you know, turn that into a little art journal. And this is another one that I really liked. It's this one I bought recently, and I haven't done anything in this either, and it's got the frayed edges, which I really like, and so I need to start working on that. And actually, this is another one that I just recently bought. I couldn't resist. I saw this in a shop, and I just thought it was really neat. It's got like leaves and sticks and things on it, and you can see the back of it. So I'm really looking forward to working in this as well. Some of these art journals, like this one here, I'm not sure how conducive it is to actually paint. It may end up just turning out to be a sketchbook, depending on how well the paper takes the liquid, the water, and all that you put into doing the art journaling, but we'll see. I'll test a page or two and see how it reacts, and if it's soaks up too much and doesn't work well for working with paints, then I will just end up turning it into a sketchbook, because I like to draw as well. So those are all the art journals that I have. Like I said, I need another one where I can do 2-page layouts like this one, because this is about used up, and rather than buy one, I'm going to make one. So right now I'm going to take my, wherever they went, my extra pages from this art journal, and you know, this is gessoed, so it looks white, but if you go back here to ones that I haven't gessoed, you can see it's kind of a yellowish color, and in order to get this to take the paint well, you have to gesso it. So I'm going to take these, and I'm going to take some pages out of this tablet, and I'm going to put together some signatures, and once I get some signatures put together, I will be back. Okay, so I've got my signatures together, and I'm doing 5 signatures of 5, and some of them I did because the watercolor paper that I'm using is slightly bigger than the pages that I tore out of the journal, or pulled out of the journal that I have been working in. So some of them I made them so that the smaller pages were in the center, and then I did some where it was like every other page, just to make it a little bit more, you know, to mix it up a little bit. I was going to do it where it was every other page, but I like the idea of having some pages where it's just a full 2 pages of the bigger paper. So what I need to do now is make a template for where I'm going to be putting my holes, and since these pages were pulled out of another journal, I need to make my template to match those holes. So I'm going to take just a regular piece of paper, fold it in half, and then lay it across. And I'm actually going to figure out, okay, so this is going to be my top. So if I line it up to the top, where are my holes going to be? And I'm going to make my holes there and there. Yeah, here, here. It doesn't look like these holes are actually even, but that's okay, we'll go with it. And then here, that looks pretty even. So this is going to be my template, and that's going to be where I'm going to be poking my holes. So I'm going to put a T up here to indicate that's the top, and I am going to use an awl and use these marks and poke my hole through. Actually, I'm going to turn this the other way so I can see where I've marked it. And line this up at the top. Put some clips on it so it doesn't move while I'm trying to poke my holes through. and then using all, just go with the marks that you made and poke all the way through all the pages of each signature. So I'm going to do that, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I went through and did the holes in all the signatures. I don't know if you could see that. And I made sure that I kept them in the same order and with the tops on the same end so that they stay aligned and they don't get all messed up. I was trying to find something to make the cover out of, and it's a little difficult. I can't seem to find anything quite big enough, but I think I can try to, because this is going to end up being a big journal, I think I can try to use this and somehow make this the end and then cut this other half off to try to tape it together and make a cover for this art journal. So I am going to work on that, trying to get this cut down and taped together and get it to the size that I need for a cover, and I will be back. Okay, I finally got this figured out, so I thought I'd come back and kind of show you guys what I'm doing. I had to cut this box in half. I laid my signatures down to see how much or how big the cover should be, and I cut off the other half, and then I scored it, measured and scored it along this line to where the one side would be, and then I scored it along the top because obviously the paper is bigger than the box. So luckily there's enough of an end on this box to where I could score that, and then we'll fold that over like such. And then of course this will be the spine. We need to make sure you have enough for expanding, because like my other art journal that I've been working in, it was pretty tightly bound, and even though I pulled out half the pages, it's falling apart. So I want to make sure that I have enough room for expansion. So that's going to be the spine, and then this is going to be the other end. The other end, the other part that I cut off, I'll be able to tape these two together and glue them and do whatever, and then that will be the cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and double stick tape this and glue it and do everything I can to get this all put together, and I will be back. Okay, so we're back, and I finally got this all glued together and the edges glued down and kind of piecemealed together. It's a pizza box that I'm using, and couldn't quite find anything that'll fit what I'm looking for, so this was the biggest box I could find. I had to, on one end, this is the part that actually would normally fold over here, but I had to kind of have that extend up a little bit halfway and then crease and fold it over halfway so I can get that extra at the top to have it the right length. And then I've got the spine here that looks like it fits, and it'll give me room for my signatures once I get them sewed in. And as you can see again, the box kind of, this is where it folded over, if you can see that, folded over, but I had to extend that out just a little bit because it was too short for the pages. But I got it reinforced as best as I could, and I think it's going to work out pretty well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gesso this whole thing front and back. And I think what I'm going to do is, I did a art project with my granddaughter where we she had to do an art project on the planet Jupiter, and we took a styrofoam ball and we covered that in dark blue tissue paper, and then covered over that in light blue tissue paper, and the dark blue kind of, you could see underneath the light blue, and it really looked neat. So I think I'm going to do a similar thing for this cover, except for I'm going to first gesso the whole thing and then paint it a dark brown, and then overlay on top of that some kind of light colored tissue paper. I haven't decided what, if I'm going to do white, and then try to put some watercolor on top of that, or what I'm going to do. So that's as far as I've thought about it. So let me do that, and I will be back and show you what I have. Okay, so we have the cover completed. Well, not completed, but painted. As you can see, I gessoed the inside and the outside, and then I painted it. I was going to do like a chocolate brown, but I realized I don't have chocolate brown, so I have this deep burgundy, because I think what I'm trying to, the effect I'm trying to create here would work best with a darker color on the bottom. And this is just Americana. It's an inexpensive paint. I don't usually spend a lot of money on my art supplies, paint, brushes, or otherwise, because I don't want to be afraid to use them and use as much as I need to. And on top of painting it, I don't know if you can see that, but I also went and stamped it with a stamp that has letters or words or what have you on it, because I wanted to, I'm hoping that whenever I cover this with tissue paper, that you'll be able to see some of the words. I just stamped it in black, permanent archival ink. So we'll see how, what kind of an effect and how much that'll show through whenever I cover this in tissue paper. And I have some clear or some white tissue paper that once I put this down, it should end up being clear enough to be able to see through. And the effect that I want to get on this is one with texture. So I'm going to crumple this tissue paper up as much as I can, because I want some good texture on here, and I want to just be able to see through some of the texture here and there, what's underneath. So I'm not going to completely smooth this out, and bring it out like that. Try to get as much, and as I'm putting it, adhering it down, I'll also, try to get some more of it crumpled up in there, and so we'll see how that goes. One thing I wanted to point out is when I did paint this on the inside, I did come in about an inch or two around, because instead of doing the whole thing, because this will be covered with some scrapbooking paper. I'm gonna, I don't know what kind of a pattern or color I'm gonna put on here. I'm debating whether just to do black or do some kind of a pattern, but that will be covered up and eventually. So I have my tissue paper here. I'm gonna let it overhang a little bit, because I'm gonna want it to wrap around to the back side. And since this is the front, I'm going to want it to completely cover this, and I'll have to add on a little bit to the back side here to finish covering that, but that's okay, I don't mind. May end up having a seam, but then again, you might not be able to see it. And you can use just about anything to adhere this, as long as it's a glue that'll dry clear. We have Mod Podge, which I'm not sure I want to use this, because I'm not sure once I get this down if I'm going to want to put another color on top of it, like say a wheat color or something just to kind of tint it a different color, which I don't know with the glossy Mod Podge how well that would take watercolor. So, and I have this Elmer's Kids Glue, and it's clear, it's a gel. I was debating on using that, but I think I'm just going to stick with the clear gesso. I think that would work the best, or would work just as good as anything else, and so I'm going to just go with that. So I'm going to put a good coat down. Any brush will do, and again, I just buy inexpensive brushes, whatever they have. It doesn't cost a lot, and as you can see, I cover my surface with wax paper, just so I don't, you know, I can make as big of a mess as I want, and then when it gets really messy or yucky, then I just pull it up, throw it away, and put down a couple more pieces. I do have a clear plastic underneath the wax, or the wax paper, but it just saves me from having to try to clean that up. It's easier for me just to pick up the wax paper, toss it, and put a couple other pieces down when it gets really bad. So I think that's good. So we're going to bring this over. Try to press this down. And then I'm going to pour more on top and just keep trying to see if I could get this all glued down. Don't mind if there's, you know, wrinkles and things. It just adds to it, although you do have to be careful of the bubbles. Probably run over this with a roller is not a bad idea, just to get any bubbles out. It might be underneath there. And then we'll do the same on top. Make sure this is good and covered. And this being clear gesso, it's white right now, but it should, it will dry clear when it's done. More over here. And that looks pretty good. Looks like a big mess right now, but I'm thinking, and I've got a bubble right there, there it goes. Hoping that, oop, that's one thing to be careful of. Do not push or pull too much because you will tear the tissue paper. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Need another piece over here to cover the end. So, let me get another little piece. And that looks like about the bag. And then we'll do this other end. Well, I don't want it to overlap too much. I'm going to turn this around. I don't mind it overlapping a little bit. I don't want it to overlap so much that you can really see a seam there on the edge. So there we go, that's better. Okay, so let's get this to go down. Roll the glue off the, or the gesso off the roller. Oh, get a baby wipe. That dries on there. Get that all wiped off. Then put some of this on top. Alrighty. So now this is going to have to dry, and this is going to probably take quite a while to dry. And if you have a little place like I have there where it kind of tore, it's very easy to fix, especially with tissue paper. I just tear off a little piece here on the corner and then just put it down there. That's good. That'll do it. Okay, so I'll let this dry, then I will come back and trim up around the edges a little bit, and then fold it over the edges and glue it down to, or gesso it down to the other side. And then we'll see what it looks like once it's dried. Like I said, hopefully we'll be able to see that nice color once this dries, coming through the clear tissue paper or the white tissue paper, which should dry, should be more clear once it dries. And see if we can see any of that text through it. We'll be back.